I'm not.
No, you were!
A feeling. We're not talking about feelings. We're talking about facts.
But you know deep down there's another possible father.
Morris versus Thorpe. Sibling rivalry is quite common in many households, but this case takes the cake as it seems this man doesn't believe he's the father of one of two kids that happen to be twins. Mr. Morris comes to the court questioning whether he's the biological father of two twins. But here's the catch. Mr. Morris has accepted one of the girls as his own, but not the other.
You say certain facts have come to light that make you believe that you fathered one of Miss Thorpe's twins and not the other.
Although it's scientifically possible for fraternal twins to have different fathers, Mr. Morris seems to be basing his accusations on an at-home DNA test. The mother of the twins, Miss Thorpe, finds these claims ridiculous and knows in her heart that he's the father of both twins.
Miss Thorpe, you're saying that you know he is the father
Yes, Your Honor.
of both twins?
Yes, Your Honor.
The couple had problems from the get-go as both were sleeping around with other people, but ultimately they united when they found out about the pregnancy. Mr. Morris rose to the occasion and provided for the twins and stayed with Miss Thorpe while they were recovering in the NICU.
I was there. I was picking out baby names, just ready for the whole ordeal.
You were there?
Yes.
Were you there for the birth?
Yes, ma'am.
So, how did this family fall apart? One day, Mr. Morris saw a DNA test at the grocery store and felt that he needed to take the matter into his own hands.
We get 3 samples, one for the father, one for the child, and one for the child's mother. Well, of course, she didn't know, so I swabbed myself, Paris, and then I used the one for the mother on the other child.
Unfortunately, in order to keep the test a secret from Miss Thorpe, Mr. Morris was unable to use the test correctly. When the test results came back saying he was not related to either child, one would normally think that maybe doing the test incorrectly could be the cause.
Your Honor, he told me he don't even know which child he swabbed.
No, I don't know which child ended up being tested, because they only tested one.
However, in an unexpected move, Mr. Morris made a bold statement to the world via Facebook, no less, that he was not the father of his twins, dismissing the possibility that the DNA test results could be wrong.
He posted all over social media and told everybody that the DNA test came back and that the kids were not his.
I think we can all agree that this was not a good move, and even Judge Lake shared her disappointment.
Did you also post, Mr. Morris, that you didn't do the test properly?
This caused a rift between the couple, and Mr. Morris broke up with Miss Thorpe for nearly a year and a half. Although the couple had separated, Mr. Morris couldn't help but think about the twins he left behind. He was sent a photo that compared one of the twins to a child he had with another woman, revealing an interesting fact to the court.
You had 2 women pregnant at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you on team too much all the way around.
As it turns out, Mr. Morris had 2 women pregnant at the same time. When he saw some pictures of his twins, there was a clear resemblance between twin London and his other child, Naraya. This made him start questioning if he fathered only one of the 2 fraternal twins. Despite not having any solid evidence to back his claims, Mr. Morris held high doubts in believing that the other twin, Paris, was his biological daughter. By this time, Mr. Thorpe had moved on, and the twins were calling Mr. Morris Uncle Twan.
What kind of relationship do you have with the twins now?
Great.
They call you Daddy?
No,
They're 4.
they call me Uncle Twan.
Mr. Morris had his reasons for not telling, but why doesn't Miss Thorpe tell the twins that he's their father? Judge Lake was not at all pleased with the way the parents had handled this situation and was determined to make them understand the gravity of it all.
To be 4 years old and have to sit up and ask 2 grown adults, is somebody my daddy? Baby's got more sense than the mama and the daddy.
We find out that even Miss Thorpe has some reservations about whether Mr. Morris is the father of both twins. Judge Lake lets loose with a torrent of admonishment as she addresses the 2 parents.
So you really don't know if he's the dad or not?
I feel like he is.
Oh, Lord. A feeling. We're not talking about feelings.
With the DNA results in hand, we're finally going to get some real facts. Is Mr. Morris the father of London and Paris?
Paris Morris. Mr. Morris, you are not the father.
Mr. Morris was right all along. He was not the father of Paris, and Judge Lake takes note of Miss Thorpe's reaction.
Miss Thorpe, you don't look surprised. London, Morris. Mr. Morris, you are not the father.
In an unfortunate turn of events, Mr. Morris is not the father of either child. If the results weren't shocking enough, Miss Thorpe's reaction to the news leaves the audience in total disbelief.
Miss Thorpe, somewhere inside of you, you knew this was a very real possibility. I can see your reaction.
Miss Thorpe had an idea of who the father was from the start, but when they found out she was pregnant, they avoided her.
Who is their father?
The other guy I was talking to. When I told him I was pregnant, he stopped talking to me.
So this makes sense. So you went with the guy with the best reaction, you went with the guy that was building nurseries, you went with the guy that was going to doctor's appointments, and you went with the guy that was going to support you through this.
She decided to play along and put the responsibility onto Mr. Morris, knowing that there was a likely chance of it being a sham. Miller versus Rasmussen. Paternity doubts and infidelity are enough to ruin a relationship, but when there's a child's custody involved, things can get downright cruel. Mr. Rasmussen says he's fighting for his visitation rights and a chance to be in his daughter Zaylee's life.
Your Honor, I believe it's just out of pure hatred. She just doesn't want me to have visitation.
Meanwhile, the mother, Miss Miller, has been doing everything she can to keep him out.
He loves his daughter, but you don't want him to have the visitation. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
He believes that Miss Miller is refusing to acknowledge him as the father due to lingering resentment from their past rocky relationship.
Why does she hate you?
She hates me because at the end of the relationship, when things got rocky, I'll admit it, I did go to another woman. I'll be the first to admit that. It was my mistake.
He's only allowed to have his daughter every other weekend, traveling 160 miles each way every visit just to do so.
I drive 160 miles every other weekend just to pick up my daughter and drop her off.
Miss Miller alleges that the only motivation behind his visits is to claim taxes, but that seems like a far-fetched reason to even Judge Lake.
I mean, if he's driving 160 miles each way every other weekend, the money he would get in his taxes, he's spending in gas.
Showing the court proof that he's keeping up with child support, Mr. Rasmussen questions Miss Miller on whether the money for Zaylee is being properly used.
And that's not very much to get what she needs.
Is it enough to buy her clothes so she doesn't have to wear cut-off sweatpants and the same t-shirt every time I pick her up?
Mr. Rasmussen seems like a stand-up father, for the most part, leaving Judge Lake confused as to why Miss Miller has issues with the situation.
Why is it you don't want him involved in this child's life?
Because I still believe that he is not hers.
It turns out 6 months after the child's birth, Miss Miller revealed in family court that Mr. Rasmussen could potentially not be the father.
One of the people we were talking to with the family court commissioner did the math, and it turns out that would be a 10-month pregnancy, and that don't make sense to me.
The other potential father in question is nowhere to be found. Miss Miller claims to have tried to get in touch with him, but he seems to have completely vanished.
I'm not even quite sure. After we broke up, he changed his number, he moved, he pretty much disappeared. I have tried to find him, I have tried to get a hold of him, and I can't find him.
Frustrated, Judge Lake looks to Miss Miller for explanation as to why she never bothered to tell Mr. Rasmussen about the possibility of another man being the father before her birth.
You know deep down there's another possible father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why wait so long to tell him?
Mr. Rasmussen opens his heart to court as Judge Lake asks him if he's prepared for the results, good or bad.
Are you prepared? Have you prepared yourself either way? If this child is my biological child or if she isn't, have you thought about both alternatives?
Much could be said about his past infidelities, but his sense of character as a father is respectable. What do you think? Judge Lake is ready to reveal the DNA results that will finally set everything straight.
In the case of Miller versus Rasmussen, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Rasmussen, you are not the father.
To his dismay, the paternity test revealed he was not the father, and the situation only became worse when Miss Miller showed an egregious lack of respect by cheering in the courtroom. Judge Lake and the bailiff were not having it.
That's a lot of nerve, considering the alternative is somebody that don't want nothing to do with you or your child.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve.